Hello race fans, Alex Weaver here in Studio 3. You guys should be excited because you saw a heck of a race at Talladega and we're going to talk about it. I have Jesse and Chase here with me. Let's talk about Chase Elliott gets a first win of the 2019 season. Awesome day for the 9 team.
Awesome day for the number 9 team. Awesome day for all the fans, everyone. It was an amazing race. We saw 3-4 wide racing. Edge of your seat, the cars were out of control. They were hard to drive and they were still able to put on an amazing show. And then we end with Mr. Popular winning the race.
I think you hit the nail on the head there when you said that the fans won, especially because we got Talladega racing at its finest. We got 3 wide, we got 4 wide at times, we got 2 big ones with less than 10 laps to go, and then we got a first time this season winner in victory lane. So I really don't think it gets better than that.
Well, let's talk about the turning point for Hendrick. We saw them kind of be competitive at Martinsville. Chase talked about that being his best race so far this season. Now he gets a win. He qualified 11th, led 45 laps, won stage 2, led the final lap, which is the only one that matters really in NASCAR. Is this the turning point that Hendrick Motorsports needed?
I think it gives Hendrick momentum with Chase Elliott breaking into victory lane, getting Chevy the first win of the season and all that. But I still think they have a little bit more to prove on intermediate racetracks for me to be completely sold this is the turning point for them. So when we go to Dover this upcoming weekend, when we go to Kansas, when we go to Charlotte.
Both of those have an Elliott win as well.
Exactly, yeah. So I'm sure we'll get into that as well. But I think that's when we will see if Hendrick has really turned it around.
I don't know that this is necessarily, we haven't seen consistency, and given the way that this race went, and the last time we saw a performance like this was at Daytona. We all know how that race went. So I believe it when I see it, I guess, with more consistency. And like you said, heading to Dover next week, it's there, but Dover is kind of its own animal, or its own monster, if you will.
Yeah, I see what you did there. I love it.
Well, and I think Chase was pretty excited about this one too. The fans, it's almost a home race for him. He's not that far from Dawsonville. Does this win mean a little bit more for number 9?
I think it definitely does, and I'm going to go maybe as far to say, I know we call it Earnhardt country, and it probably always will be Earnhardt country, but I saw a little bit of Elliott country in there too, with Bill Elliott recording the fastest lap at Talladega ever recorded for NASCAR a while back, and then to bookend it with Chase Elliott getting his first race win at Talladega. That crowd reaction was absolutely amazing. Chase said that he felt like he had the crowd in the palm of his hand.
Maybe that was the first time that it really had sunk in for him. Yeah. And that maybe goes back to what we were saying in the history that track has for the Elliott family. And I have to imagine the only better place to be than Talladega on that Sunday evening was Dawsonville, Georgia.
Yeah. The siren.
A little jealous I wasn't at the pool room. All right, is this going to be the year that Chase Elliott has more than 3 wins?
I think he's going to win more than 3 races because, like I said, I still think Hendrick has a lot to prove, but Chase Elliott has been the strongest driver out of the entire camp. I think another point is Alex Bowman had a really good finish that might spark something for the number 88 team. And then we saw William Byron and Jimmy Johnson have their struggles there in the race, but I really think that Chase Elliott's going to win more than 3, and honestly, we could see some consecutive wins from him coming up because, like you said, Alex, he got a win at Dover and Kansas last year. That's our next 2 races. We could see 3 in a row from number 9.
I think a lot of this conversation has come with the fact that it was Elliott country yesterday, and there was so much history there. And I do believe that his dad passed on, those tips and tricks as to how he did such a great job at Talladega, but I need to see Chase make his own way. He really kicked it up last season in the playoffs, and he proved that he could get 3 wins. Have I seen that yet this year? I don't know. Doesn't mean he can't do it, but I need to see Chase make his own way this season.
Now, do we think kind of a wild card? Because Talladega is one of those where you don't necessarily know if you have the best car. It's kind of one of those survive and advance, and let's just see who can be at the finish line at the end of the race. Is it a dominating performance by him, or do we think that this was maybe one of those where it's your best chance for a win, so go after it?
I don't think it was the most dominating performance for him. I think it was the most strategic performance for him because him and Hendrick and Chevy all together, they were lurking all day.
Yep.
And right when they needed to restart with 4 laps to go, him and Alex Bowman teamed up, passed Joey Logano, which is arguably the best restrictor plate racer right now. Him and Brad Keselowski beat him at their own game.
I don't know if this is a dominating performance. I don't think it is, but I think there was a little bit more risk and unpredictability that played into that win than we realized.
All right, well, a W on the board is a W on the board.